Hello, what's up, you guys? How have you been? How are you doing out there in cyberspace? Um, okay, so I've been kind of MIA for about 3 or 4 days or something like that. Let me explain myself. So, as you guys know, this past Friday was Good Friday, and um, I didn't feel it to be respectful to even remotely talk about a narcissist or my own bullshit on a day that is an observance to Jesus's crucifixion. So that, out of respect, didn't do anything on Good Friday. But on Good Friday was also the art show that I am a part of in Charlotte, North Carolina. This art show, if you want to look it up, I'm not sure if it's online really, is called Unbound, and it is through the Charlotte Art League. And every artist in that show was handpicked, and they are all survivors of um, um, all types of abuse, like from financial, domestic, SA, um, R, the words I can't say on YouTube, um, and a lot of things. And my piece, I'm very humbled that my piece was featured directly next to the title as soon as you walk in. And that's very, very cool. So yeah, that's what Good Friday was for me. And I thought to myself, how fitting is it to be a part of an art show um, completely comprised of survivors of abuse on a day that Jesus was crucified because he was humiliated and murdered, but he gave up the ghost. That's too deep probably for right now, but for the greater good of mankind. His suffering was really for the greater good of mankind, and all of our suffering came to be a positive art show for the greater good of mankind and its awareness. So anyway, that was Friday. So Saturday, I had opted out of going to this memorial service at my college because my one of my writing professors passed away. He was a really excellent writer. Um, his name was Doug Lang, and at the last minute on Saturday, I decided to go, right, and I went to this event, and it was filled with everybody, or a lot of people from my year, which was 2007. And it was just older versions of the same pompous bullshit assholes that I went to college with. I didn't fuck with them then, and I don't fuck with them now, right? So I was talking, it's just weird. It was very weird and excruciatingly uncomfortable for me because I'm more someone that likes to observe my surroundings. But when you are someone of the light, the darkness always finds you. And all these people, right? Random ass people would come up to me and like try to touch me in some way, either a hug or like shake my hand or some shit. And at one point, this old ass lady seemed to just float through the crowd. Okay, I didn't even see her walking because my anxiety was through the roof, right? And she like came to me. All I could see was her hand, like a fish, like to shake my hand, right? I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I did not want to shake her hand. I didn't want to shake anyone's hand. She's the second person that day during that event that reached out to shake my hand, but I did it. I was testing myself to see where I am socially. And needless to say, socially, I don't fuck with nobody, bruh. I don't fuck with nobody. I didn't even give a fuck she was old, right? I mean, I gave like a slight fuck for a second because when she reached out to shake my hand, I shook it, right? And while she was asking me random ass questions, in my mind, I'm like, bitch, don't touch my hands, right? But in reality, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, nice to meet you too. But really, no, right? I didn't want to transfer energy from her to myself or me to her. Touching, hugging, handshaking, that shit has energy in it. And I really didn't want anybody's energy from there. It was a bunch of old Caucasian waspy um rando, like mainly female, but it was kind of like 50-50 male. That were pompous, weird ass, unaccomplished artists. And I don't care if you're unaccomplished, but but the money within them, that says like, I am privileged to do this, just grossed me out. Like no one made art anymore, and they were just there as like this facade, just to like put on airs and interact with each other. I ended up going downstairs in this museum that was once my college, and like just chilling in the bathroom for a second and breathing, because I was there to support my deceased professor. But needless to say, man, when that shit was over, like 20 minutes before it was completely over, I cut out of that. I cut out. I was like, deuces. I didn't really say bye to anybody. I just deuced out. There was well over 100 people there, and it was like a sensory overload for me to be around that many people. However, and I didn't give a shit. Like I said, if you were old or not and you were at that event, I didn't give a fuck. I was like, if your vibe is shiesty or weird and shit, or pompous in any way, fuck you. If you are old, if you are old now and you're an old bitch, more than likely you were a young bitch at one point in time, obviously. And I have no cut cards. If you're old, young, whatever, you know what I mean? I don't fuck with you. So anyway, I learned that I'm not really into those kind of interactions. I'm not there right now. And I don't think I'm ever going to be there where I can chill around a group of fake ass people. It bothered the shit out of me. I was actually one of the only accomplished artists there that was still like working on my shit. Everybody else were these like washed up, weird ass, overly wealthy, pompous like has-beens that had like something to prove by outdoing each other at somebody's memorial service, and that was gross to me. Anyway, so I wrote down something that I thought of, and I wrote down, don't forfeit your reality for nobody. That's something I made up. Don't forfeit your reality for nobody. I don't care where you are, who you're with, who approaches you, who you are around, whatever you know to be true energetically or whatever. Just like when I was at that event, I didn't want to fuck with nobody, shake no hands or hug nobody, and I cut the fuck out of that shit early. You know what I mean? I came, paid my respects, and I was out. You don't have to feel bad about shit like that. At this point, narcissistic abuse and the survival of it wakens up your senses to be able to process people's energy quick as fuck. You will no longer be in that position to be like, oh, let me see how that goes. And no, you know how it's going to go and how it's already going the minute you walk in that room. You can scan that room, process that shit, and you know when to leave, right? And that's what I did. I wrote down something from Proverbs. It says, because I'm in the arts, but a lot of you guys are writers, or maybe you're a good teacher, or maybe you're just a really good mother, or maybe you're, a good musician, or a poet, or a painter, or anything else. Anything you do that's good, right? It says, a man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. That is Proverbs 18, verse 16. You don't have to be like those people that were in that room with me and boast about anything. I did a silent scan of the room. I did not introduce myself to anybody. I chilled. I fell back. I just observed my surroundings, right? But I was there because my gift made room for me. Period. And your gifts will make room for you, and bring you before people that are actually about their shit. Be about your shit too. I don't care. Don't let nobody knock you off your game. I know this is kind of like a random message, but this whole weekend was just basically me about my shit within the arts. The show in North Carolina on Good Friday, then Saturday going to the art museum to, do some presentations for my deceased professor or whatever. All that shit was just full of like all sorts of erratic people that I realized I don't want to make the time to be around. It's not that I don't necessarily fuck with nobody, but I kind of don't fuck with nobody. I mean, you know what I mean? There's somebody out there, some people out there. I'm sure there's a group of friends, um, including you guys, obviously. Y'all are family, right? But as far as the people outside in the world, I don't really fuck with nobody. You can't really vibe with them because they don't really know your experience, nor do they understand it, right? So you're kind of just like alone in a room full of people. And that's how I felt. So, anyway, that was my Friday and Saturday. That's why I wasn't around you guys, but I did miss you guys whole time. I was thinking of you guys. And I wondered if there are any of you out there that also ventured out into a social setting, and even though you were surrounded by people, felt like you were definitely completely alone and didn't want to be like touched and shit. Did you hide in the bathroom? Did you not eat while you were there? Did you cut out early like I did? Because something about narcissistic abuse and the survival of it puts you on a different path socially, right? You don't go into a room anymore or a party anymore. Like me in the past, I used to go to a party on purpose, as many of them as I can. I would step in that shit and be like, woohoo! Now I'm like, or I'd be like, oh yeah. Now I'm like, ill nah. You know what I mean? How do you go from woohoo to ill nah? You know? It's just something about waking up to the nature of how demonic people can be that will change your view and perspective of any and every social setting. Has anyone else gone through that? I'm just trying to relate. I need to know, honestly. Um, Song for you though. This reminded me of a song. Of course, I always give y'all stuff like that. It's called Deep End, like deep end of a pool. And it's by an artist called Fauché. And that is Foushee apostrophe at the end. Deep End by Fauché. That's how I felt when I walked up in that bitch. Like, yeah, I'm just here about my business. Anyway, love you guys. I have videos for you guys coming up. I just wanted to talk to you. I haven't talked to you in forever. That's why this video is like damn 13 minutes long. But that's what I've been doing. I've been on my grind, but also kind of avoiding social contact while in social settings. Anyway, love you.